meeting of the Rochester Township Commissioners to order. Please follow the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mamone.
Present.
Mrs. Teams.
Present.
Ms. Piper.
Present.
Mr. Summers.
Present.
Mr. Bauer.
Present. This time we'll take any remarks of citizens.
I had one
Yes, sir.
question. I live up on Melvin Avenue.
Melon?
Melvin, yeah, up by the graveyard.
Okay.
Okay, all the streets from, what's that, Virginia, whatever, all the way up is no parking on one side,
Okay.
all but my street. Okay, my driveway comes down and I have another house above me and one next to me. We share the same driveway, okay? So what happened, the house
Are you on
below,
that?
the
If
house,
I'm going up to Melon, like from
no,
Shewalk.
I live on a dead end.
Okay.
Okay,
I know where you're at.
go up Shewalk, make a left,
Five-
okay?
is it
I live on a
545?
dead end on top of that hill,
545?
545,
Yeah, we were just there.
yeah. So,
I know where
down
it is.
on Davis Avenue, whatever,
Yes.
545.
they got this family with 7, 8 cars, whatever, I don't care how many cars they got. Anyways, everything's one part, one side, all the way up, okay? So my driveway comes down, and then roads are narrow. I can't even have the garbage man come up, because they park on that side. They have 2, 3 cars parked there all the time. I called a cop, well, James, my neighbor up above me, he went down and asked him politely, well, you couldn't, don't park there no more. Because we can't, when I get out of my driveway, we can't make that left. I mean, you gotta really finagle it.
Right.
Anyways, he kinda like told you, screw off, whatever. So one night I called the cops, I told him, he said, you know what, you gotta go to a meeting. He told me when they have them and that, so that's my complaint.
So you need about 20 feet to make that turn.
Yeah, I mean, they parked right there and we gotta try to make out left. I mean, them roads are not even.
I know where you're at now. I
Yeah, they're a
understand what
little
you're
narrow,
saying.
like
Yeah.
from here to there.
Pretty
Right.
steep,
That's all.
pretty
Yeah, it's
steep here
steep,
too.
too.
Very
Steep.
narrow.
I was up there in the truck and, yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty, it's something we need to look at.
Let us take a look at it. I know exactly where you're at, and I think Tolman does.
I mean,
and
all
does,
the roads,
so-
all the way up to my
Yeah.
road, don't have a sign. Just put a sign up where they can't park there, that's all I
Okay.
ask.
Sir, what was your name?
Frank Aramhall.
Okay, and,
I've been living in Rochester my whole life.
okay, that's 545.
545
Right,
Mellon Avenue.
Okay, I
Yeah,
promise you we'll look into it. I
yeah,
will, if you could leave your telephone number with Melissa, I'll
okay.
give you a call after we look at it
Okay,
and let
thank
you
you.
know,
All right.
what we find. Is there any other remarks of citizens?
I had a guy soliciting here a couple weeks ago, and he was a little pushy to leave. Now, I was wondering, like, what's the regulations on people coming to my house? Like, you guys don't do no background checks or nothing like that?
I think if somebody's soliciting in the community, and
They have to come here to
correct
the
me if I'm
office.
wrong, but I think they have to come to the office
They
and,
do, they just get a permit, but we don't require a background check.
yeah,
We
they
don't
have
do
to
any
come
of
here to
that.
get a permit, but we don't require,
You guys
She
don't,
said a
like,
background.
well, it's like, I mean, if it's like a child molester or something, how do we know?
Right.
How do I know who's like coming to my house, you know what I mean?
right.
You guys looking like, or like, how
Sure.
about
I
Like
looked
a
into
list.
it before, I still have some information that we talked about it.
or
Melissa,
even like a, no soliciting list, like, we
Right.
get our addresses put on, so when people do come and get permits, they get a list of houses not to go to.
maybe what we should do when they come to get a permit is get more information. And even if you can't do, because some of these come back in more than once. So maybe we get more information and also maybe do some type of background check. And Melissa said that it's something that's come up before and they've got some information, so we'll look into it, see what we
Yeah, I
can do.
checked a couple of communities around here do background checks.
Yeah.
And do have a do not, list where, I can get on, you can get on, just
Right.
that when they come get their permit, they get a list, these are addresses, do not stop at these houses.
Right.
Do they
Which,
have to,
I don't care about the the background check if they're not coming to my house. you
Right,
know?
right, right.
That's
But it's
easier.
probably still better to get
Yeah, I mean,
checked, that way you
Just-
know it's somebody credible coming into the community.
yeah, and that'll deter people too from coming into town too.
Right,
You know,
right.
they gotta get a background check
Right.
too.
Yeah, 'cause it costs them $10 to do the background checks every time they do them.
I don't know. I don't know what the cost would
Do
be.
they have to fill out an
Is that what it
application?
is? Well, I mean, to me, it's still,
They
it's
do.
worth it, you know, to make sure that you don't have somebody coming in here.
Well, it's $10 for them to do it.
Oh, you mean for them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't do it, you.
I understand, I understand.
They would have to bring each.
That would be worth it to me even if we had to pay it.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, that way there, you find out real quick, and you know that as a police officer. You start doing some background checks and you'll find out real quick. If somebody's here for,
I mean, I think, and
For wrong reason.
George isn't here, but I know, Melissa, we've talked a couple of times.
Mhm.
There is no teeth to our soliciting ordinance. There, we have very little that we can do to them when they do stuff wrong, other than throw them out of the township.
So,
okay,
is-
that, go ahead, Mike.
so somebody coming in for a permit for soliciting, they fill out the permit,
Yes.
and that's it? They go on their way and you do what they want, or do we have somebody who looks at it and who okays it, or we don't even have a procedure?
Me,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All
and
right.
they get a certificate for how many days they're allowed to solicit, they're supposed to.
So they can come in the same day, they get okayed, and they can go out and solicit it?
Yeah, I wanted it to be like, I actually talked to the borough, and they do, you have to have a background check, you have to fill out an application, you have to submit it, you can't have it until the police chief reviews it.
Do they, is it the permit something small that they could have to display? I mean, they
No,
could-
I
you-
just give
You can
them
make
a-
one of those up if you know what they look like, but.
A piece of
yeah.
paper, just a paper that says they're allowed, who they are, what company they're from, and what days they're allowed to solicit. That way if a resident asks, they know they at least have a permit.
Cause I actually called late last summer, I had somebody in my yard saying they were representing Duquesne Light, and I'm like, yeah, you could have copied that lanyard, put that DLC on there, and it was a color printer. And then he was getting smart with me, saying, well, I'm allowed to be here. I said, not if I tell you to get the heck off. You know, so that means, no, you're not, I don't want you here, so.
Well, I've had a
Huh?
few people come to the door over the past few months. You know, sometimes they're selling windows or whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
you know.
That's who, that's who
That
my,
was at mine.
Is
He
it-
was walking through my neighbor's yard, that's what made me mad, and I didn't know what he was doing. And now if I'd known ahead of time he had a Windows jacket on and showed me that, I might have thought different of him. You know, but, you know, he was walking in between our houses.
Well, they still shouldn't do that, I
No.
mean. You know.
We had
Walk
the-
out in the walk on the street and go around.
You have to be proper. to
We had the
represent
Kirby
your
sweeper guy that time that gave you guys one name, and when we got a complaint and ID'd him, he gave us that name, and then we come to find out that that wasn't really his name. So,
Yeah.
Do we
You
get a
just
copy of
never
their
know,
driver's
because
license?
somebody could use that as a guise for some, you know, because,
Happens all the
I mean,
time.
they come in, they wanna rip off an older person, you see it on TV all the time.
Well,
You know,
that's
they'll
what-
come
that's what
in,
I'm
oh,
thinking.
we're gonna do this for you, and take a down payment, and you never see them again.
Yeah, he's
So-
looking at your windows, he's gonna tell you, some old person that their windows are
Right,
bad, and talking
right,
into.
right, give me a
taking their money.
$2,000 down payment, then you never see them again, you know, so. I think that's, we need to tighten that up, and I'll let you know what we end up doing, Mike, okay? Young lady, do you have anything?
No, sir.
I know you already do.
I'm okay.
How you doing? I haven't seen you for a while.
I know. Well, it's baseball
Okay,
days.
are there any other remarks of citizens? I promise you both that I'll get back to you, okay? On what we end up doing, okay? And we'll see if we can't get you some relief up there on Mellon, at least on the end of the street, that's all. Something up there.
Yeah, just put a sign up.
Right,
Well, they have
Because when you have the end of the street and you have to have turning lane. You have to have enough.
that room to get out of there.
I used to
Garbage
plow
man
that
can't even
street,
come
sir.
up. What happens if the ambulance has to come up or a fire department?
Right,
Well, I plowed that when I worked for the township.
Yeah,
So I know what
that's
you're
a
talking
tight
about.
ass road.
Yeah, well, yeah.
it's not safe if you have to get an ambulance or something.
Well, where you make the left to go up Melon, okay, well, you know where the Spring, whatever place is in the bottom. Well, they have a sign there, no parking on this side, but I don't know if it's for that whole side of the road or not.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I told the cops about it. Cops said, there ain't no sign there. I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna argue with them, so I'm gonna get thrown in jail.
So if that sign's up, down at the bottom of the hill, it takes care of the whole street.
Well, no, because.
That last house before Community Springs, that's where that sign is at. It's,
At the bottom.
yeah,
The,
I know where you're talking about.
on Mellon, you have a side street that comes up, so you would have to have it posted at side street too.
Oh, okay.
Because somebody's defense would be, I come from this street, so,
So we have to put another sign up.
well, we're gonna have to make sure the ordinance is actually in place.
Okay.
I made that note.
What's that?
I wrote a note down.
Alright.
I'll check.
Okay.
We will do something for you.
okay,
I promise
thank you so much.
Has everybody reviewed the committee reports?
Make a motion, we accept the committee reports.
Motion by Tom,
I'll second.
second by Gina.
With the
Any
G.
question, any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I need a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes of February 20th, 2020 as submitted.
I make motion.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Debbie. Any question on the motion? Anyone wishing to vote no? Motion carried. We have a few discussion items this evening. Melissa worked up 2 sheets, and I don't know, maybe you haven't even got them out of your box yet, but we have a couple sheets. One sheet is the balances in the different accounts, and the bond account, and the one grant account. So, you know, when you look at your budget report and so forth, it's kind of hard to tell where you're at, but this will tell you exactly where we are, and there's some things we need to get, so we'll know like what monies we have, okay? So when you have a chance, review that, and then you'll see another sheet that has some things yellowed off. The items that are yellowed, okay, are items that were on the wish list for when they got the bond, and haven't had anything done with them yet. That doesn't mean we're gonna do them. I'm just saying, the ones that aren't yellowed have already been purchased or taken care of. The yellowed off ones are ones that never really had anything done, okay? So, you know, if you get a chance, look at these account numbers and take a look at this, and, you know, by the time we come back for our meeting later.
Since we have that balance sheet for,
Right.
would it be difficult to like just keep running tally so we could have it from month to month so we could?
No, I can do that.
Yeah, and I think, and I can't take credit for this, but, you know, Melissa and I have been going over different things, trying to figure out where we're at with different things. And like, she came up with this, and it's great because there's some things that were purchased that hadn't been submitted to get the bond money back. And she's kind of tallied that. So when you look at your bottom number here, it's pretty accurate. And that's something we'll never show in a financial report. So if you guys have a chance, you know, take a good look at it between now and the next meeting. Next item is discussion on the 2020 dump truck purchase. Paul has called them and we've put that on hold. Basically because, you know, we thought we were getting a grant somewhere around 30, 40 grand towards the truck, and we find out it wasn't applied for, so we're not going to get that. I'm not saying we're not going to get the truck, but again, we have to look financially to see where we are, okay? All of us. The next item is, you know, we talked about it a little bit from time to time, was the summer commodities and the winter salt from either COG or CoStars. And I think you said it's due on March 13th, like we have to make a decision by March 13th. Now, I don't know. I guess last year CoStar's was less per
Yes.
ton.
Yeah, they were
Yeah, they've
less.
been
They were less, but then you were saying that the COG didn't
They didn't
go out
as
for
early.
pricing till late last year. We
Did
thought
they even
it-
go out last year at all?
Yeah, they did,
But it was late, okay.
so
So
late.
that,
It was
And they
really-
that could
learned.
have, that could have been part of the reason of the price difference.
Mhm, that they had.
So, honestly, I don't know what to, I don't know what to say. Tom, do you have any insight on this? I mean, it's sort of like a gamble, which way you go.
Yeah,
or,
well,
you know.
And
it's,
what we're sitting on now.
what you
Right.
usually do
Yeah,
is use
yeah,
your
we
money
have
from
some. Yeah.
this year and go back a couple years. We haven't had to
This
use that
year,
much.
right.
So, but
But you
Paul and I
got a
were
plan
talking about
for,
that, yeah.
yeah,
We were
bad year.
talking about it, and 100 ton, that would get us in the ballpark. If we need to go buy, we can buy from CoStar, because they're cheaper.
Right.
So
No.
if we say we want 100 ton, then
I
that's
think
all
they,
we're locked
did
into.
they
is
change
100
that
ton.
on,
You know what I
did
mean?
one of them change what you actually have to buy?
I think it's, you have to 60%.
Dropped it to 60%. So if you commit to 100 tons, then you only have to really buy 60.
Right.
So, and wasn't it 80 before or
It
something?
was.
Or
It was 80, yeah.
80%.
How's our supply now?
Pretty good.
We got enough over there in case we get belted quite a few times to get us through that.
Okay,
So,
so you're saying we need to purchase some for, stock it out for next year?
right, well, you
Yeah, you do
buy
that
it
year,
now.
Yeah,
Well,
And then-
you just do the bid now and how much you wanna take
Right.
next year.
You don't have to take it now.
You don't take it now, you have to say you wanna, Paul suggested 100 tons, to say we take 100.
But
Will
Paul
that-
said
will that
we
fit
had,
in there?
and Tom, that we have quite a bit.
you take it, you get it whenever you need it, right? Is that how it works?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay, what do we normally do?
yeah,
100 ton?
right. And then we get 50 ton of anti-skid to mix with it. So we have a mix.
That's cheap.
Right.
So, yeah, that would put us in the ballpark for to get started.
Oh, what you recommend?
Well, that's the thing, I don't know. I mean,
It's a gamble. But you're buying
It's
with
all
all-
about
with-
gambling in
with
this.
COG.
That's the same way with your.
yeah, because
gravel
you don't have
that
two
you-
prices that you can compare, because they don't have their price yet.
So once you're locked in, you're locked in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have to buy 60%.
It is 60 this
Is
year
that
If you
for
don't
both
meet,
of
if you
them,
don't
or
meet it, you
just-
still have to buy it.
You're committed to
You're
it.
Right.
committed. That's
with
for,
them.
Last year, CoStar's ended up being a lot less.
Yeah.
but
But,
if we don't do nothing, something happens, we run out, who can we call to get it if we need it?
And then we're gonna pay for it.
yeah, then you're gonna pay
Is
a
that how
lot
it works?
higher
Oh, that's
price.
how they get you, huh?
And the only ones
That's
that
how they
want
get
They go, oh, they need it
They
now?
need
Yeah.
Okay.
it, so. It's like,
I'm digging your pocket.
Did you ever hear the law of supply and demand?
Yeah.
You're gonna say, can
Oh,
you
my
supply
God.
us, and they're gonna demand a lot of money.
we've seen it happen.
Anyway, but, you need to do,
Something by the
Yeah.
13th, you're saying, right?
yeah. I don't think we need a vote for it, do we? I'm asking.
Yeah, we
Uh,
should.
We should.
I think
Just
we
to cover
already did
ourselves.
for CoStars, it's whether you wanna go with COG. If you wanna bid both, like,
Bid both?
that's what we've done in the past, and then the 1 year COG was higher. So you'd split it, and,
For half of it, you're gonna pay a higher price.
you know what I mean?
You're
But then the
watching
1 year
the
COG
bid.
was really high, cause they were late going out for bid, and we haven't done COG. But they're doing everything at one time, so we also have to decide the summer commodities too by next week.
What do you think, Tom?
Well, I think 100 ton will do us.
No, I mean, which
For summer.
supplier do you
No.
think that we should?
Well, we
go
should
with?
do just what she said. It's playing a game. You have to really hope that the weather goes to where you're gonna use up the material.
Well, I mean, it's which supplier?
COG or CoStars?
I'd go with CoStar.
CoStar.
Judy Parker.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, based on the fact they were cheaper last year,
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably.
And they're probably gonna be cheaper this year. 'Cause they
But
got-
again,
they got
now,
quite
if
a
we find
stockpile.
out that for some reason COG was cheaper, now next year we'll have to
Well, then,
change our
that's-
mind, maybe.
yeah, that's when you change,
Right, okay,
You're rolling the dice.
yep.
you are,
We
okay,
all do it.
So we need a motion?
yeah.
Oh, we should just.
Yeah, could I have a motion that we use CoStars for our salt for next year, for the winter?
Do we have to tell the amount, 100 ton or whatever Tom needs to get?
Yeah, we could say,
Yeah, I make that
say
motion.
the amount of 100
Whatever.
tons.
Whatever Tom needs to get.
Motion by Mike,
I'll second it.
second by Tom. Is there any question on the motion? Anyone wishing to vote no? Motion carries.
You still wanna bid the summer commodities?
What's your other summer commodities?
Yeah. Give me a motion to bid the summer commodities through COG.
Yes, I'm making a motion again.
I'll second that.
You have a motion to bid the summer commodities through COG, Council of Governments. Motion by Mike, seconded by Tom. Any question on the motion? Anyone wishing to vote no? So ordered. We have an opening each on the planning and the zoning board. And we have two people that are interested. Mr. Lucci is interested, and Lynn, right. And Lynn Long would like to serve on one of the boards. Okay,
Do we have any
Would-
letters?
She submitted a letter months ago.
yeah, and it was never brought up, I guess. She submitted one months ago, and it was never brought up.
Like,
For the
For
board.
planning, zoning?
she wanted, planning.
Like
Do you have a preference?
zoning? We've got people that are interested,
Yeah.
get it filled.
You, Mike, is zoning board okay?
It's on.
Anybody have a problem with putting them on?
No.
Okay. I need a motion to place Lynn Long on the planning commission and Mike Lucci on the zoning board.
Make a motion
I'll
for Lynn
second.
Long and Mike.
Okay. Motion by Debbie, seconded by Gina. All those in, oh, I'm sorry. Any question on the motion? Anyone wishing to vote no? So ordered. Okay? All right. Okay. I hate to admit this.
Wait to hear it.
I hate to admit this, but I've been on the board since January 1st, and until, what day was it? I looked at it. So yesterday, I had never looked at our website. And now I'm sorry I looked at it.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot there, is there?
It's pretty bland.
I remember I brought that up last meeting.
You did bring it up, but I still didn't look at it, that's why I'm embarrassed. But anyway, so I did look at it yesterday, and it didn't take me very long to come to the conclusion that, you know, I'm not gonna say who's supposed to have taken care of it, because I'm not getting into that, but I think we need from this point on to have maybe somebody monitor it and make the changes as we need changes and so forth. Personally, I think maybe in the beginning, we might have to even have a whole new one made up. I was particularly disturbed when I went there and the first page had a big boat at the top of it. And I thought maybe I was in West Palm Beach.
Oh, not our kindergarten boat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway. But anyway, we need to, you know, we need to do something. And I mean, we're just discussing it at this point, and what we're doing is we're kind of looking into, I think you called it Brighton Township.
I didn't get anybody.
You didn't get anybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're looking into some of the communities that have pretty nice websites and see who takes care of theirs and everything. I mean, personally, you know, I think it's something that the community can use if it's a good website, you know, that has the meetings on there and has a lot of things on it.
Right.
You know, in the fall, when you're gonna pick up leaves, all that. So that's one thing. Then we wanted to do a couple newsletters, and then we're trying to do the same thing with that. Find out some of the better ones, who's doing theirs. You know, I think ours, I guess before, was pretty expensive with whoever was doing it. Trying to find a more economical
Right.
I think,
So we're just, at this point, just kind of looking into it to see what,
I think Myron was gonna bring a sample of New Brayton's, cause he said theirs was pretty nice with a lot
Yeah.
of stuff, so I said
Yeah.
I'll take a copy.
Brighton
What
Township.
remind them?
Brighton Township,
Mhm.
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Money
Yeah.
lives in Brighton Township. Theirs is nice. Their
Yes.
their newsletter's on their website too.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, here,
Yeah, we printed it.
I have it.
Along with that too, whoever heads that up, I think that we should contact the borough and East Rochester, and maybe we can do one together, all Rochester
It's
one.
all about
if-
Rochester.
If we can, 'cause that's the way we're leading to someday.
Here,
So
this is,
if it works out,
that's
maybe we can
Brighton Township.
piggyback, and maybe we can make one with all three
It's very
communities in it.
Right.
I
I mean, we can look at all kinds of different
Yeah.
possibilities and just see, you know.
We'll be meeting with Mr. Barrett here pretty soon,
Right.
so.
That's nice.
Yeah, they have a lot going on.
Does anybody have anything to discuss? I know I've gone through everything on here, but did anybody think of anything that maybe we need to discuss?
I just have something for executive session.
Okay,
Yeah, I have some for executive.
okay.
I don't have anything until, I guess until you do remarks or ask if we have anything, and then I'll
I think he is.
flash my master list.
Okay. All right. I need a motion to approve payment of the bills reviewed by the Township Board of Commissioners. Do you need a motion on that
I'll
tonight?
make a motion.
Right? Okay.
We pay the bills?
Yes.
Second.
Moved by Tom, seconded by Debbie. Any question on the motion? Anyone wishing to vote no? Motion carried. Remarks of officials. Anybody have anything?
The only one thing I have is this wish list. I don't remember them putting this out for everybody, because there's nothing for the fire department on there. You know I'm partial to that. Because our building downstairs is pretty disgusting. So I'm gonna add some stuff to that, if everybody okay with that.
Yeah.
I'll give it
Yeah.
to, I'll give it to Chief Lamone, and he'll see what he
Yeah,
wants to put
absolutely.
in. You know, because it, and we'll
Yeah.
revisit the fire station someday. Open your eyes again.
Well, I finally saw the website. Maybe I can come over there this week. I'll be over. You can give me a guided
Come on
tour.
over. It's not too much to guide you with.
Okay. All right. Nobody else has any remarks, then I need a motion now to go, and
I
I'm
just want to
sorry,
talk
go
about this
ahead.
real quick. That's
Go ahead.
okay.
Sorry, Gina, I
That's
didn't mean
okay.
to cut you off.
That's all right.
You even told me you wanted to do that, but I still cut you
Nice
off.
job, Rick.
I did the spring walkabout of the parks, and I'm not gonna go through the whole list, but everybody has a copy, and I asked Melissa to give a copy to Paul as well, so he can see. And my co-chair didn't get to see this yet, because I just finished this at lunch and sent it in today, so, nothing's too extravagant, it's mostly just cleanup and stuff, and some things neaten it up, safety issues. And does Public Works have a leaf blower?
We have a leaf blower, Tom?
I
I
can
think
answer
we do.
that.
We do?
Yeah, we got a bunch of leads there.
4 of them.
4 of them.
Well,
Three
One
employees,
for
we got
everybody.
4.
Only
There we
4?
go.
Okay.
We should
Just
hire another
because some of
employee.
the things like cleaning out the rubber bits from the boat and stuff like that, so.
Wait a minute, how's the guy from the borough know how many leaf blowers?
Been there, done that.
So, that's open to,
Would
Any
you, could you see
suggestions?
that list, that Tom gets a list of it? Because we're gonna have to go out and do you already get it?
yeah, I asked her to make a copy for
Okay.
everybody, so
Good,
everybody
good,
has it.
good, okay, very good. I have
Detail.
mine. And Tom's got one, and that's gonna be his guys that are gonna have to do it.
Yep.
One
Bless
other,
you.
one last thing that I forgot about, probably should have put it on here. Been talking about just the general appearance of the outside of the building, okay? Bad, okay? And we need to kind of redo everything as far as the landscaping part of the building.
Under?
Yeah. And again, that would fall to the road department, and I know before, they were never given time to do that, you know. But, you know, I'd like to request that, you know, that we're able to make the outside of the building, you know. And I've asked Dina, since she's the flower girl on the
Dina.
board,
She's a florist, the landscaper herself.
She's our resident
changing
landscaper,
my
so
name.
I already recruited her to come up with some suggestions for plants and stuff.
Make up a list with, or just tell the road department, tell Paul what you need, and
Could we,
we'll have to get it into
And
a
we'll get,
schedule.
Tom, we'll give them the time to do it too.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
no, I'm
work it
saying we
into
have
the
to get it into a
schedule.
schedule.
Right. Maybe we can even do it before we get into that, any heavy
Yeah.
stuff that we gotta do. Yeah.
did
We'll
we
see.
ever
We'll work on it.
consider, we did it years past, hiring like summer help? That could take a little bit off the road department, like they could do the painting of the curbs that I do my own, which I understand they're busy, but, you know, they could do the.
Well,
plants,
you
they
know,
could do
one
the
time,
painting.
Mike, we did have the prisoners come over.
Well, I'm not talking prisoners, we don't want no prisoners.
No.
I mean, if
No, we don't wanna do that,
Can we-
because years ago when I was on the board, they came and arrested one guy for murder or something. I don't wanna do that.
I'm just saying, is it something we need to look into to see
No,
if
it's true.
financially we could hire
Or-
somebody?
Well,
You could go over and ask one of the judges,
Right.
okay, for the people that have to do community development,
community
for
Service, yeah.
service.
community service,
Yeah.
and have them pick up the trash in the township, designate the roads. You have to supply the bags and the
Yeah.
gloves. And they do it, and they tie them up, and then the road department comes along and picks the bags up.
I remember they even had a thing for some younger juvenile offenders too one time, where they had, that'd be something that we could probably contact the county and see if there is anything available. That changes all the time.
Well, that's what they use over in the county. They use.
They use
the
the
guys
inmates
in-
Yeah,
from the jail.
yes.
Yeah.
Sure, and we've used Pavilion, but you
Yeah.
have to have somebody with them
Yeah.
at times.
Right.
But they wanna be
But,
here.
yeah, so
How come the workers can't pick up the
Oh.
garbage?
I'll make a couple contacts over there and see what's available.
Okay.
Okay.
Good idea.
Mike, do you have any suggestions in regards to that? You've been on
You wanna work
Public
part-time?
Works?
What's that?
You wanna work
I
part-time?
work by myself now.
Summer, yeah.
I mean, you guys got 3 guys up here.
You know, and I did forget about our poor dilapidated sign down on 51, the
Oh.
Welcome to Rochester Township.
It's so weathered.
Once we maybe can get around to that and do something with, at least repaint it and cut down the
Where's
grass
it
from
at?
around it.
Where is it? I'm surprised I didn't notice.
It's about, what, 300, 400 yards before you make the left turn to go on to.
I think you're coming into.
Coming
Coming
from
into
the-
Rochester.
Like the.
Right.
Oh, right on 65 coming
Yeah.
from
you
New
come
Brighton
up-
before you
You're
get
talking
into
about
Delaware
Ramble.
Avenue
Yeah.
and start
Yeah.
out to the
Right,
ramp.
right.
It's right down there.
Okay,
Right by Greystone Drive.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it. Okay. It's still on 65 then?
Yeah.
Where you turn for the old speakeasy.
Right as you
All right,
come.
I'll take a
There's,
look. We'll do
uh,
something with it.
There's a sign that you come off of 68, right before K-Buyers. It says
Okay.
Rochester Township, and it was always covered by a pine tree. And I think that sign needs to be changed, because I don't think you read it real well.
Okay, so we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
We'll do something with both of them.
Yeah.
Huh? Everybody
I was gonna
agree
get
with
Paul.
that?
Paul.
Give Paul that list.
And in addition to the landscaping around the building, I know the building was painted back when Carolyn was here, okay? And which has been, what, 7 or 8 years, whatever it is.
8 years.
But I mean, I think the outside of the building also, I mean, the inside's been painted, but I think we need to have the outside painted too. It's starting to look pretty rough.
Get a couple bids.
Yeah, get some bids, maybe 3
Yeah.
or 4 bids, okay. That's all the trouble I can cause tonight. I need a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion to go into executive.
I second that.
Moved by Debbie, seconded by Mike. Any questions? Anyone wishing to vote no? So ordered.